Once again, more schedule rumors on the horizon as the schedule is about to release for 2020 at any moment over the next week. So Martinsville was yesterday. I had originally planned for a video on that race. However, after seeing the news here today about the schedule and how it could possibly change for 2020, I've decided to not really make a Martinsville video, mostly because, once again, it was another average race. There wasn't much to talk about, and had the least amount of lead changes in Martinsville history in the modern era. Only 3 lead changes. It was still a decent race. It wasn't bad by any means. However, there wasn't much to talk about, you know. I'll just say this. I think the tires may be a little too hard, didn't wear too much, and maybe the giant spoiler produced some more dirty air. Even though it's a short track, dirty air is still a thing that could be talked about. Maybe that possibly had a play into it. I don't know, but the schedule changes is what is big to me. So NASCAR has been wanting to shorten the schedule for as long as they can. They don't want to, go up against the NFL for as long as they are now. They go into late November. The NFL starts September. So there's a lot of room there where they're competing against the NFL, and all those matches they basically lose to the NFL. So NASCAR has obviously wanted to shorten the schedule to September, October, somewhere around there, before Halloween, possibly shorten it to there. One of the ways they want to do that for 2020 is a Pocono Double-Header. So Adam Stern, if you have Twitter and you don't follow him, you should follow him. He's a great follow, especially for NASCAR news. Normally, if he reports on stuff, some of it turns out to be right. He's a great follow, honestly. He has a lot of these rumor type things on it. Some rumors that came from today was that Pocono could host a doubleheader in order to try and shrink the schedule down a little bit. Now, what I mean by Pocono doubleheader, if you watch IndyCar, just think of what the duels in Detroit are. They run 2 races, one on Saturday, one on Sunday, and they each get points for each race. So it would be something like that. They would run a cup race on Saturday, a cup race on Sunday, and then, points after all that, whatever. The question would be, if they did it, which date would they do it on? Would they do it on the July one or the June one? In my opinion, this is something that I'm interested in, because because they have Truck and Xfinity that also goes there, right? Would those races be held on Friday? Would they still be held on Saturday? What would happen? In my mind, what would be the best thing to do is to make the doubleheader the June one. So then the Pocono Doubleheader is on June, right? And then don't let Xfinity go to Pocono and let Xfinity go to Martinsville while they're going to Pocono or something. So yeah, but the big question is, if they were to do doubleheader, obviously Saturday and Sunday, would the races still be 400 miles apiece? Would it be 300 miles apiece? Something like that. Just something interesting to think about there, because it's interesting, especially, Pocono being my home track. I've gone there. It'd be very interesting to see how that would work out if there's a race on Saturday and a race on Sunday. In my opinion, it could work out. Definitely shorten the schedule by at least 1 week, so it'd be interesting to see. Another rumor was that obviously the West Coast swing would go to race number 2, and Atlanta would move back to race number 5. So they obviously go, they go Daytona, then Vegas, then Phoenix, then Auto Club, and then of course race 5 would be Atlanta to get some better weather in. That's been reported on for a long, long time. There's still no announcement about that yet. It's still been that same thing where the West Coast swing would go 2 to 4, and Atlanta would be race 5. And another rumor. Well, this actually wasn't a rumor. This was something that came out. Was Bob Hockris said that Ford's, sponsorship for the championship weekend is ending after this year. So, we've had the Ford 400 end the season for so long. We've had Homestead end the season for so long. It's always been the last race of the season up until, early 2000s when Atlanta was the last race of the season. The big thing is that it's possible that Phoenix could be the new finale. Now, why Phoenix, you may ask? Well, for one, during finale, right? That's in October, November, depending on when the schedule, how long they want to go with it. You need good weather at that point. You can't go up to New Hampshire. You can't go up to Martinsville. You can't go up to, Pocono, Watkins Glen. You need to go somewhere where it's warm. Vegas, Phoenix, Auto Club, anything in Florida, anything down south. That's where you need to go. So it's a limited amount of places you can go. Phoenix, in my opinion, is one of the better ones of those places they can go. Obviously, I think Homestead is actually one. It's probably the perfect championship race, just because Homestead is kind of like, you race on 1.5 milers for a lot of the season, right? That's probably the best 1.5 mile they have. Not only that, but it wears the stuff out. So it's a good mix between, like, hey, you have to have a good car, but also, is your driver good enough to do it? Can you run up against the wall for 267 laps. But I also think Phoenix is another good racetrack to host the finale. We've seen great races over there the past couple of years. Intense races. The restarts get pretty insane with the new reconfiguration that they made. So I actually wouldn't be against having Phoenix as the new finale, especially since it's already the second to last race of the season. So it's still later in the season. And also, fun fact: Homestead was the second to last race of the season, and then it went to into the finale phase. So it'd be interesting to see though if they make Phoenix the new finale. Where does Homestead go on the schedule? Does it stay in the chase? Does it go earlier in the season? Does it go mid-season? I mean, there's a lot of unknowns because of the schedule change. So but once again, the big schedule changes aren't going to come until 2021. 2020 though is going to show what NASCAR thinks about certain things. Like, how do they feel? Do they want to switch the chase tracks up? Do they want to make, where they want to move everything is basically like, it'll be kind of like a base for how they want the 2020 schedule to go. Another track that I think could do duels would be Michigan. Everyone always complains about Pocono because people say it is, quote, boring. When you're at the racetrack, it's not really that boring, I'll be honest. But also, people always complain about how close the two races are together, and that is very true. You have one at the beginning of June, the other one is late July. Barely 2 months, not even 2 months in between the two races. So they are very close together. So to have, duels on the same weekend, that'll get rid of that problem because, hey, they're back-to-back, and then that's the only two Pocono races that you have. And also, Michigan, I feel like could do that. Those races are pretty close together as well. Michigan is just after the first Pocono race, and then the second Michigan race is sometime in August. So they're kind of close together as well. I think that would be another one that could do double headers and, kind of have duels, so to speak, at the racetrack. But it's just interesting. These schedule changes, Jim France took over, and then they started talking about how big schedule changes are. I think it shows that Jim France knows what he's doing in terms of running, sport leagues, auto racing leagues. And I'm just excited to see, what maybe new could come. Will we have a rotating finale throughout the whole, every year after? I don't know. Phoenix is as close to a short track you get without it being a short track. So that'd be interesting. But some good news coming from the schedule thing here today. The news that Adam Stern reported is that the schedule is going to be released sometime this week, with as early as tomorrow, Tuesday, being the earliest that they might release this 2020 schedule. So expect that schedule to come sometime later this week, whether it be tomorrow, Tuesday, whether it be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever it be. It's going to be intense. Also, look out for news possibly tonight about qualifying changes starting Texas, because that's apparently something they've said as well, is that they might start, they might talk about the changes that they're making to qualifying later tonight. So it'll be interesting to see what those are as well whenever they come. They have to come sometime this week because qualifying at Texas is very, very soon, a couple days away. So that's that's some rumors about the schedule. We're still, the schedule's about to come out. We're still talking about rumors of it. That is pretty amazing. That NASCAR has actually been able to keep some of these secrets for as long as they can. And we'll see if any of these, is Pocono guy with that double header, as we mentioned, is Phoenix going to be the finale? Will Homestead keep the finale? What's going to happen? It's going to be very, very fun to see what the schedule is going to look like for 2020. And then 2021, man, that is going to be a huge schedule change as well. I hope so. And I hope that everything goes well with that. So I thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys for the next video.